Hi, hello, guess what? This video recording is scuffed and I'm not going to re-record it. Basically what happened was I recorded my desktop with OBS. Unbeknownst to me, when I hit the recording button, it was downsampling the video quality, so a lot of detail and text has been lost. I'm hoping that my vocal explanations are good enough. Well, it's scuffed. I am showing you quite a bit and I am explaining it pretty okay. I'm hoping that everything still looks good. Yeah, sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Well, welcome back to more behind the scenes. Okay, what are we talking about today? Well, today we're mostly going into VFX territory and video stuff that I'm doing for the bumpers and the ads and the new intro that I just put together. Hasn't, at time of recording, it hasn't actually made it into a published video yet, but having it like it's ready to go. Basically, I just need to add like maybe one more name to it and re-render that out to put it in the next video. So we need to talk about mostly the Fusion tab. So we're gonna go into a little bit of inside baseball. Very like there's a lot here. There's a lot that we're working with. So here, let's go ahead and let's mark that. So we have, I guess we should start with, this is the Be Right Back scene. So we have a simple timeline where we have the song, we have my voiceover that I can change, and then we have the video. And if we go to open in timeline, here we go, you can see all the different layers. So we have the background, we have the Bismo cutout, we have the text, and then we have this, which this is basically a way, if you look right here, I re-enable it. Basically, it's just a way to kind of layer. I'm standing behind this little beanbag thing. It's just a little custom layer that I basically took this picture and cut out this beanbag thing in Krita, and then I overlaid it on top. You know, just to add a little bit more depth to the image. I did a little bit of pitching and yawing. Here we go. Yeah, you can see over here, I did a little bit of pitching and yawing to make Bismo look more like he's standing in the actual video. I don't know, you know, just doing some stuff. And then if we go back to Be Right Back, so you'll notice in this timeline I haven't actually applied any of the VFX, and that's on purpose, right? It's easier to just sort of craft the scene and then turn it into a compound, what is it? A compound clip, and then apply the effect to there. So there's actually quite a bit that goes into it, and I'm actually going to change the VFX, a little bit of the VFX stuff while we're in here. Also, every in this project, this whole project is basically where I'm gonna be making ads and bumpers and all that stuff and little bonus things. Like here's where I made the Gimmo edit. Oh, and there's the ad. I can go into the ad later. Here we go. So where I made this little gizmo edit thing, it's pretty much the same thing as, like, you know, I was messing around. So the way that I did this one was I did a pre-built analog damage overlay thing, and it looks fine, right? There's some things that I wanted to change. There are some aspects of this effect that aren't quite perfectly accurate, and I wanted to have more control over how different effects get applied to the video. So what I did was I followed a little bit of a recipe, and I basically followed a little bit of a recipe, put all this shit together, and turned it into this. So if you've never seen the Fusion tab before, this shit probably seems like fucking Greek or some shit, like a different language. And it kind of is. So, I guess we'll follow it step by step. The video that I followed, it expects you to have a 16:9, 1920 by 1080 resolution canvas. And this canvas is 640 by 480 because I knew that I wanted the crunchiness of that lower resolution. So every project in this, every timeline in this project file is 480p by default, specifically so I can get the right resolution and the right crunchiness of the video and all that fun stuff. So we'll start by having the original compound clip here on the left side. On the right side, we have the finished video, and I'm gonna keep the finished video over here on the right side just so that way we have something to sort of look back on to see like what each effect is kind of doing. I'll show each effect like over here on this side. So I guess to start, we have just this overlay file. I don't really like this one. I used it for some of the original ads. I feel like it's too much damage. I got another one. Let me see if I can find it. All right, cool. We'll put this in here, and then we'll go into Media Pool, VHS Overlay 2. Replace. There we go. So it adds a little bit of damage. It's not nearly as destructive because we're already getting so much destruction of the video with this. Adding on that like insane overlay just kind of felt like too much. Basically, all this one is adding is just occasional bars appearing in the video. You can kind of see it over here, or you see it over there. It's just kind of overlaying a little bit of a something something on there. It just adds a little bit of that extra. I'm also gonna mark this as looping. It adds a little bit extra crunch, a little bit extra texture to it. And then if we go into, okay, so we have media in 1, which is the compound clip. We have media in 2, which is the overlay. So then we have to put both of those together into a merge node. And the merge node, all it does is it puts the little scan lines on it. That's all it does. Okay, following so far. So we're merging in media 1, media 2 onto here to get the bars. We have this background image, and like I said earlier, this recipe I was following expects you to oh, sorry. We're kind of going in a lot of order, and it's been a little bit since I've had to explain this and break this down to someone. So the key thing is that I had to bump down the size a little bit just so that the whole thing could fit in the frame. And then I also did the apply mode as screen. So if I did anything else, it would just kind of not work. And having it be screen would get rid of the black in the video and sort of overlay it like an ultra key or like a chroma key, right? So originally I had the other VHS overlay on, and I'm assuming the reason I have the weird off-center stuff and the size being weird is just that way I can fit the play and the timer and everything on here. Can I just show that? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So merge it together, screen it over, and then the effect is you get the little bars that appear occasionally. That was not you, that was me. Let me go fix that real fast. Okay, sorry, that Discord noise was not you. So, we merge the two together. And then, the way that it works is that there's this, this background node right here basically turns any 16:9 clip into a 640 by 480 image. And because the canvas is already 640 by 480, it doesn't really do much, you know? It's just there if I want to put any like higher res video on there, because this is supposed to be like a template that I can apply to basically just anything and make it work while tweaking some little levers and dials here and there. So we have the background, we have the original merge. Now we got to merge it together again, so that way it actually merges onto the background. Cool. We have two different layers of resize. So the way that these work is that they're, okay. This is going into a little bit of how VHS and tape stores data. So the way that it works, from what I remember and what I understand, is that in order to, yeah, there we go. In order to store video on tape, it basically shrinks the certain aspects of the color and luma data. It shrinks it to store it, and then in real time, it stretches it back out to fit on the screen. So if we have this merge over here on this side, and then we have this merge over here on this side, you can see that there's a little bit of like fuzzy areas around the side. There's a little bit of like the color is kind of not popping. If we were to, here we go, move this over here. So we're taking this merge, we're resizing the entire video down here, but then the important thing is we're only doing, there was a part of this, what the fuck was the original point of this? Okay, here we go. So we resize these two things, and then we only apply it to the color over here on this merge. So that's how we're kind of getting this stretching and pulling and squashing of color data. So we're shrinking the video down to 320 over here. We're shrinking it down on width to 320. And then we're shrinking the color aspect over here on this side, and then we're re-stretching those out to the original size of the canvas, just to really mangle it, just to fuck it up, dude. And we're only doing this to color. And can you tell I can barely understand what this recipe even does? So we're really fucking with the color, and you can see around there's like blurred edges and color stuff isn't quite looking right. Let me see if I can like, oh yeah, look at that, you can see it. So the more I mess with it, the more you can see that the color over here kind of gets messed up a little bit. And if we resize this one, here, let's resize this one. Let's see what happens. I mean, you can kind of tell what's happening. It's all about the original, like it's about the stretching it back out. Yeah, there you go, you can see it. So yeah, we're only applying this squash and stretch to the color. And that kind of squash and stretch like blurs it really, really, really bad. And it creates these sort of fuzzy edges where you can't quite tell what it's supposed to be. And that's how VHS stores that image. And then we have to blur it a bit, just a little bit. I think. Yeah, just a little bit of blur. There's only two. And then what we do is we resharpen it. So here, we'll put this over here and we'll put this over here. So we're blurring it to resharpen it to further degrade the video quality and the image quality, right? Does that make sense? And this one is actually really interesting. So you can see this mask down here for the rectangle, right? We're only doing just a little bit. So what we're trying to do here is create a wavy foot effect. There was a specific term for it. I need to find a way to animate this because, I mean, I could keyframe it, but I would have to manually keyframe everything, and there's no way for me to automate that process. And I need to figure that out. Basically, what we're doing is you know what? Can I just like rotate this a little bit? Ooh, okay. You know what? Having it rotated a little bit kind of makes it look cooler. Here, let's put this over here. And then we'll put this over here. Yeah, it's kind of uneven, honestly. So we're basically applying this mask to, this is a rectangle mask, and we're applying that mask to this waviness node, I guess. And we're applying a pretty steep waviness effect only on this mask, only on the very bottom of the image right here, just to give it a little extra scunge on the bottom of the video. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a way to make this effect look a little bit more convincing. In motion, if you're not looking at it, you're probably not going to notice. And it just adds a little bit of that extra realism to like what the video format was at the time. But I'm always looking to improve my stuff, so that's the next step, is to make this look a little bit more convincing. Because there's supposed to be like static and glitchiness and stuff like that. That's why I have this glitch overlay video. I was trying to overlay that using this rectangle mask, and it didn't quite look right. So I'll figure this out. I'll find more tutorials, I'll find more files, and I'll try to make this a little bit better. And then we have a grain filter. We're just adding a little bit of grain. You know, you can see the before and the after, where it's like, this is just the waviness applied, and then with the grain on top of that, you know, you can kind of see. And then what was this color corrector thing? What was the point of the color correction? I think it was to fuck with the, colors even more. Here, let's do before and let's do after. Okay, yeah, so the point of this was to blow out the saturation, because that's another thing that VHS did. And then we'll do before, and then we'll do after. There we go. So we're blowing out the saturation, and then we're just barely bringing in the dynamic range of the video. So what that means, if you don't know about dynamic range, it's kind of like how audio works. This is gonna be a really interesting way to describe this. So tape can only store so much data, right? And excuse me, digital codecs and digital video formats can store way more data than tape. So what that effectively means is that, imagine like there's, you know what? Let's try to visualize this on a timeline. So let's say this compound clip here is the range of a video, of a digital video codec. And then you have all different types of colors and luminescence and saturation values and everything. There's a lot you can store in here for a single frame of video, right? And what a VHS tape would do is you're just squeezing a little bit more, right? You have less room for data because it's an older video format. So the point of doing this color curves effect is you can see right here, we shrunk it in just a bit. We shrunk up the dark colors just a little bit, and then we shrunk down the light colors just a little bit, just to pull away a little bit more of that range, that dynamic range of the video. And you can see the before and the after here. Like the saturation is really, really fucking blown out, and the darks are really dark and the brights are really bright. So we're going to tone that back just a little bit on both ends. We're gonna make the light values a little bit darker and the dark values a little bit lighter. And just to better emulate that style, right? And then the pièce de résistance that we need to add. We're gonna do before, we're gonna do after. We gotta add a little bit of camera shake, just a little bit. So on top of the bars, you also have the little bit of camera shake. Sorry, I heard my own voice on the microphone, so it was kind of fucking me up. You had a little bit of that camera shake just to also emulate, because the way that CRT video works is you have an electron gun in the back of your display, and it's firing beams of protons in a line, down line by line along the screen. And it's not gonna do it perfectly every single time. So you add just a little bit of camera shake, just a little bit. You don't need a lot. And then you crank the speed up pretty high just to make it like more convincing. You know what I mean? Like you can see it. It's not a lot. It's just enough to make it convincing. That's all you need. You achieve more with less of the effect, right? And then after that, you output this into media out. And so that means you would effectively turn this clip into this clip, going through all these different fucking nodes. And then if you want, I can hit this and it shrinks down here. So I've got one node for the input video. I've got the compound node for everything that it's fucking doing here. That outputs into media out. So I understand that this is complicated, but like, this is what the behind the scenes videos are, right? So that is basically how I go into editing all of this VHS garbage together. And I just make these little clips. I can change voiceover files. I also, for these two audio files, if we go into here, I have a bit of a distortion effect. So here, just a bit of distortion. So here, if I mute this file, wait, no, I'll go into this one. Here. So this is slot 1. Okay, so this is audio 1, this is audio 2. So audio 2 is going to be the Jet Set Radio sound. So let's give a little bit of a listen. Okay, so you can hear it, right? Let's turn the distortion off and then listen to what it sounds like. It might be hard for you to properly hear it depending on what speakers you're listening to this video with. That's the trickiest part about audio, right? Is I'm wearing like relatively fancy headphones. So I'm able to tell the difference between distortion on, distortion off. Again, it's subtle. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm doing kind of the same thing that I did with the video, where I'm truncating the audio quality just a little bit by eliminating detail in the very, very high end and the very, very low end of the audio. The point of it is, hey, I could probably easily just do it with EQ. I probably don't need to use a distortion filter. So if I'm like doing this and doing this, and then I just do this, here, let's turn distortion off. Okay, let's listen to this clip again. Maybe it'll sound better with distortion on. Okay, so yeah, it's the same thing. We're eliminating data and quality from the top and the low end of the audio, specifically to emulate how VHS and tape like that stores data, at least back then. Because, audio quality gets better, so we're eliminating a little bit more of that range of audio, and we're adding some slight distortion levels to the audio as well, just to like mess with it. We're trying to lessen the quality of it, and I'm just kind of using the pre-built TV distortion filter. I think I messed with the values a little bit, like really fucking with the high cut. You can like, especially in voice, when you're doing music. So when I was using this specific audio clip, even like look at the equalizer while it's playing. There's a lot of detail here in the low end, but on the top end, you're not really getting a whole lot. And I think that's because the distortion filter is on, not gonna lie, because I'm cutting out a lot of the high end. Yeah, you're getting a little bit more. Yeah, so I'm specifically really, really cutting out the high end of the audio just to give it a little bit more of that. The effect that it's called is called a low pass filter, where you're really drawing out the low end by eliminating the high end. I'm not really fucking with the low end that much, just because having a low pass filter kind of gives it. God, there's so fucking much, and I have no idea how to explain any of this. My apologies. Basically, what you need to know is that having more of a low end and less of high end makes it feel more authentic. And then we're attacking the level. We're having a pretty high level of this filter going on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying. This is literal like an hour or two of just fucking with sliders and like just tweaking things ever so slightly, just to make it sound right. You know what I mean? And I did all the exact same shit with the private internet access ad, and I'm just gonna keep using it. There's really not much. Okay, I'll say this. Because I've decided that I'm not really going to pursue YouTube as a career that much anymore, I'm still going to keep this. I went through all the effort of getting the VPN code and everything and the affiliate link. I'm still going to use it. I'm not going to put much effort into making a new version of this ad, because who cares? It's an ad, right? You see reruns of ads all the fucking time on TV, and that's what this is basically emulating, is having the bumper in the middle of the video like, hey, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and I'll have this ad play, because you see ads all the time, and people are gonna skip over it regardless. So it's like, who cares if I reuse it if people are just gonna skip over it? But the fact that I have this like structure here of like ad break, like you know, be right back bumper to coming back with the, what is this one? Oh, I guess I was fucking around with some video files a little bit. Yeah, we're back. Here we go. So we're doing like the welcome back thing. Like there's room for me to really fuck with this. There's also room for me to put little teasers for different videos in, right? There's room for me to make videos, make little teasers and little ads about other projects I'm doing. So if you want to watch the ad, then hey, you get to know a little bit more about what I'm doing and stuff that I'm working on. And I think that is the, I think that's a cool thing that I can give for, like, you sat through the ad, right? So now you can also get little tidbits and little teasers about what I'm working on. You know what I mean? I think it works out. I think it works out pretty well. And I guess that's it for the bumpers and the ads. And then I guess the other one is the intro. So the intro is quite interesting. Which, first off, I need to add another name to this. We've got a new memba. There we go. We have a new memba here on the in the members only videos. They're only they're a $1 tier, so unfortunately I don't think they're gonna be quite seeing this. But you know, it's I still appreciate it nonetheless. So here we're gonna move this up a little bit. We're gonna move this over here a little bit. So yeah, you can see what I'm going for. So I have the, ooh, here we go. Ah, fuck. I did the well, whatever. I already uploaded this video. Who gives a shit? Oh, I did it on new intro. Okay, good. Oh no, you can see that. Okay. It's tricky because I'm trying to like put the thanks to members thing where it's not gonna overlap any names. There we go, that works. And then how does this work? Okay, I need to move both of these up. So we're gonna move you up. And then we're gonna move, oh, nope. Then we're gonna move you up. There we go. There we go. I'm just really trying to make sure that nobody's names get overlapped and there's space for everybody. It's gonna get tricky. It's gonna get really tricky in the future if more members start showing up. So, I basically took inspiration from a few different creators I was watching, and I was like, hey, I haven't seen this kind of effect be done before, where the terminal window gets dragged up on the screen. And that, I mean, this is just a simple green screen. I took a recording of my desktop with a green screen wallpaper, and I just kept typing in things over and over again, just doing different takes. And then I'm gonna cut out the taskbar and everything. And then I just use an ultra keyer. You know, I just use an ultra keyer on it, and it happens to work out perfectly. Just take out the green footage, and then it does the fade in. It does like the opacity properly. Like it really can't be understated how cool it was that this whole effect just worked. You know what I mean? So here, like it does the transparency right. Like that's cool, right? And I also turned up the gain on my mic a fuck ton and moved the mic close to my keyboard so I can get audio of me typing on the keyboard, right? And so I have very, very brief glitch transition effects. Very, very brief. You can kind of notice them if you watch it, but it just adds a little bit more of a like a pop to it. You know what I mean? It's like you might not have noticed it, but your brain certainly did. And it added a little bit more of a pop and a little bit more of a transition to a harsh cut like that. And then also it allowed me to not show because sudo start video is not a real command. So if I were to play but even one frame more of this terminal recording, it would show like, command not found, or it would be like, oh, type in your password. And it's like, okay, the point of it is just it's supposed to be quick, right? So it allows me to quickly transition into things. And then with the with the artistic integrity video, I kind of had this thing where I have a library of Sonic Adventure 2 sound effects, and one of the sound effects is this menu noise. So here, let me just solo this so you can hear it. Yeah. So it's kind of like activation effect, you know what I mean? You know? Like, it's the sound of the video coming up, just adding just a little bit of something to the mix. You know what I'm saying? So you really honestly can't hear it that much in the final thing. Here, let's listen. So yeah, just adding a little bit of extra texture to the video, or to the audio. You know what I mean? Also hiding that there's like just this harsh as fuck cut in on this song. I just took a Funk Fiction song. I fucking love this album, by the way. I'll, if I remember, I will have a link to the Bandcamp where you can buy this album. If I don't remember and it's not in the description, yell at me in the comments so that way I can fix it. But yeah, just it's an entire album of Sonic songs redone in this just gorgeous lo-fi kind of funk aesthetic, and it's so great. I wanted to use a different song initially because I was trying to think of how I was going to take this thing and transition it into the video I was working on, and I was working on a few different ways to make this intro happen, and I eventually just landed on doing the montage with the Funk Fiction song. And I just took a bunch of rapid fire clips of stuff from videos. You know, you can see the laptop editing, or the laptop repair stream that I did a few years ago at this point. What else is on here? Okay, so this clip never made it into a video. So this was a project I wanted to do where I was going to work on a CRT TV. And here, you know what, we'll go here so you can see better quality footage. Here we go. I wanted to do a video talking about CRTs. This is the electron gun I was talking about for how CRTs work. That's what CRT stands for. It's a cathode ray tube. This is it right here. And this big honking thing is just a big piece of reinforced glass with a vacuum in it. And that's why CRTs are so goddamn heavy. It's because of this, not because of this. So you have the footage of me opening the computer screen, or the computer door, which this is my old build. This build isn't even in, it's not even a thing anymore. Like, the pieces have been ripped apart and put in other computers, and yeah, it's a whole thing. We have the laptop repair thing, we have the CRT, we got 3DS modding from the Citra video. I wanted to represent a whole bunch of different types of videos that I made, just kind of rapid fire it, you know, just kind of make it so like, hey, you can kind of understand what I'm going for here. You can see the kinds of things I'm working on. And then I also wanted to just hide a few other things. This is from a recent stream where I played Sonic Unleashed with a PC port with a bunch of mods. Had to put Miku in there because I thought it was funny. Some Monster Hunter. Gotta put some Monster Hunter in. With the hardest fucking shot in the entire game of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Just this whole cutscene of facing off against Shigaru. It's just, it's peak. And then you can see these ones. It's the final, like, dun, dun, like, dun, 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 dun. And I wanted there to be impact, right? So you can see, bam, the parry on the Black Knight. Bam, the level up with Luigi. Bam, the Heavenly Potemkin Buster. And then, bam, the text comes in. And then while the song sort of like has this trill, this like tremolo, I think is the right word. You know, the SS Dolphin is skyrocketing up, and then you have the Earth in the background, and I'm especially proud of how this shot turned out. I thought it, like, I was trying to think of a way on how I was going to end it, and then this shot just happened to be at the finale of Pikmin, and it's so perfect, and it just came together perfectly for this. And then I gotta have music provided by Funk Fiction. I didn't talk with them about this, unfortunately. I didn't talk with Funk Fiction. how I'm gonna go about it is like, if something happens. So there were no, what's the word I'm looking for? DMCA checks. The reason why I made that little update video is also just to test the intro to see if YouTube were to pick up on like, oh, this person owns this song. Sorry, you can't use it. Thankfully, I didn't get any DMCA strikes or fucking IP copyright bullshit. So I feel like this intro should be fine. Perfect. I feel like this just ended up being pretty good with the vision that I had. So this is going to be the intro going forward. And I'm trying to, like I said in the update video, I'm trying to like refine what the style of my video is. So, you know, we're working on it. And I've been talking for about 40 fucking minutes about nothing. So about like video shit. That's basically all I wanted to go over in this video. And then, like, obviously I had to do some of this VHS effect stuff. I redid some stuff here. I changed up a little bit of the sliders here and there just to make it fit in a, I basically disabled this background node. Here, image. I mean, I kind of messed with it a little bit just to make it fit better in a 16:9 canvas. You know what I mean? Just to have the effect there. Just to have the effect there so that it's like, oh, you know, there's texture to it. It's very subtle stuff just to sort of really reinforce what this channel is supposed to be. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, it's just, there's a lot. My words are currently failing me and my battery is draining very rapidly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end this video and go get some fucking breakfast. So or I guess lunch at this point because it's almost noon, whatever. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for watching this whole thing. I hope that you found this interesting enough to continue being a member. I want to keep doing more stuff like this, but it's just, you know, videos are a little bit slow going right now, unfortunately. So, hey, we'll continue to work on it. We'll continue to make videos, but, you know, it's just how it is. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope to see you in the next one.